Give you some of the tips how to write a good summary. First, as I said, read the material properly and distinguish the main idea from the details by underlining. The first reading is fast and the second will involve the skimming and scanning. Now, how to write the summary. First, proofread the first draft for punctuation, spelling, grammar, and unity. You have to undergo all the processes of writing and reading techniques. So, how to look for the main points in the passage. Read the article through once. Read again and again, listing all the main points made by the author. Look over the list for a more general purpose these points serve. So you have to read for what these lines are taken about. The very first, as we say, add a topic sentence. Take the example as you can add. Write one sentence that summarizes this general purpose. That is, why the writer has written this. Or very easily you can say that this essay is about this topic. Now when I'm writing something about a mobile phone, for example, if I'm reading the topic of a mobile phone, then I will write that this passage is about the mobile phone. So in this way, check the purpose for accuracy by rereading the passage and the article. Again, revise the summary statement. You need to revise what you have read about. Again, what are the general steps for summarizing support? Read the article again and again. List every example, quote, and or argument the author uses. Write the summary sentence. Look for examples of your own which are common and all persuasive. When I say all persuasive, see, students, you need to understand that communication process is highly persuasive. You need, as a human being, is a social animal. We need to connect to people. So here, any kind of communication process needs to be all persuasive. So look for the examples from your day-to-day life. Make a final copy of your summary in neat handwriting. See, because whenever you are presenting your summary to someone, you are doing it as your project work. You can be doing it as your homework. So it is going to be referred by some other person. So the proper understanding by the other person is extremely important. So for that, even if you have not presented your summary, if you have not written down your summary in proper handwriting, the other person will find it difficult to understand. And maybe there can be the wrong persuasion in the understanding. The perspective of what the speaker wanted to tell you or what the writer wanted to tell you must coincide with you as a reader. So whatever the writer has written, the summary should coincide with what you are reading about. And then as you go through your summary, that has to coincide with that. Now, I have an activity for you all students. Here you will find, just now concentrate on your passage. Here you find a passage given to you and we'll see how can we summarize it. So please pay attention. Now I'll just read out the passage to you. Robert Sculler in his book, Tough Times Never Last, But Tough People Do, comments, possibility thinking works. It is a hardcore principle which can get you through the hard time you are going through. Your life can also be the portrait of a survivor. You can make it. You can win if you follow carefully The possibility thinking plan outlined in the following chapters. The first step will be to put your problems in the proper perspective. Everybody has problems. No life is problem free. They may be the worst you have ever faced. Now you must learn to solve and manage problems. Winners dare to dream. To do so, it is necessary to take charge and control of their problems. So here, I guess the students have understood the passage, and we'll see how to summarize it. Now, as I've told you, what are the techniques? First, rereading is essential. So you can have a look at it again and again. Reread the passage. Again, you have to read it for the proper grammar, proper punctuation, and unity of the topic as a whole. Now, to write down and jot down the summary, one needs to underline or highlight the main points, as we have said. What can be the topic sentence? That tough times never last, but tough times do. So this is the gist. This is the main idea through the passage. So here what I have done, I have skimmed the passage. Now what I do is I scan the passage, and here I am finding what are the quotes given to us, given to me by the writer. So are there any particular quotes made by the writer? We need to search for that. The overall idea about what the passage is going to tell me must be understood. So here I have the first version of my summary is Robert S. Schuller says that man should not run away from his problems. Problems teach you lessons. You cannot be a survivor if you are not a strong person. So this is the first version. One of the students has given me this. Have a look at the second version. What is the second version? According to Robert Schuller, the difference between those who win and who don't is the application of the powerful concept of possibility thinking. Winners dare to dream. They commit themselves to it. They dare to try, to take a risk. They understand that failure is an event and not a person. They never quit. Their dreams can be converted into reality. So I guess my students have understood, and they have comprehended the difference between the first version and the second version. Why is the first version poor? I readily accept this because the summary is too short. There is no topic sentence as in the beginning, the opening section. See, if you remember what are the techniques for the summarization, as I have told you, it should start with the opening, then evolution and development, and then the conclusion. In the first version of the summary is too short. It does not include much of the information from the original passage that we have given. Many ideas are left out. See here, the student has not quoted anything as the writer has given him to. So we conclude that the paraphrase is incomplete. The main idea which the student has got from the skimming and scanning and the careful reading are absent somewhere down the line. Now again, as I say, ignorance of parenthetical citation. Now what do you understand by parenthetical citation? It is that when you make references to someone else's ideas, either through paraphrasing or quoting them directly as your own, and you provide the name of the author, the page number of the work. So you are literally relying that this sentence is from this passage. You can even mark, if you're writing a series of passages, if you're writing the summary of a series of passages, you can always mention the page number and the name of the author who has written it. So this is going to help as the parenthetical citation, that you have read this entire piece or passage properly with effective reading techniques. So here in the first version we find that the student has ignored the parental citation. Now, why is the second version good? First of all, the summary is complete and it is appropriate. It is there to convey the message exactly in the manner as the writer wanted it to convey. Now, when I say writing of summary, you should never use the author's or the writer's own words. Okay, you have to convert the writer's idea into your own ideas, because that is the process of comprehension, interpretation and analyzation. Say when you see a good version, a good summary, it is that the student, that is the reader, has gone through all these steps of understanding and reading efficiently. Now, as I say, why is this the good summary? That the student has not used exactly, he has not copied anything from the author. Again, the student has included some of the points which were there in the passage by quotation marks. Okay, it is extremely important that you have read it. See, in the second version you can come across the student has written, winners dare to dream, they take risks. So this is put into inverted commas. So that is going to help us to understand, and that is, you have highlighted that point in your summary. Again, the student has included the parenthetical citation. He has told us that the author has written this particularly. So the student has included the parenthetical citation. So I guess my students have gone through all the techniques of summarization now. We move on to the next topic, that is note taking and note making. So basically, as a student, one must understand what is the difference between both. When I say note taking, what is the difference? What I am doing over that? Note taking mainly is reliable on your listening skills. It is a passive approach towards learning. Now, when I say listening skills, what do we understand by that? That when you are taking notes, you take notes while you listen to someone. See, a speaker is saying something, you listen to it and you take notes. So it is that, but in detail you can say noting down without analyzing the received information. So that is the basic difference that note taking will have than note making. Now we need to understand what is the listening process. See, again, when you hear something, what is happening, that the sound waves hit your eardrum and they enter your mind, and the series of steps takes place. And what are the series that takes place in the process of listening? That are receiving, interpreting, evaluating, remembering and responding. But what is happening when you are taking notes, when you are listening to someone, it can happen that you are just hearing to someone. See, as a student, one must understand that there is a difference between hearing to and listening to. When you hear, what is happening? The sound waves hit your eardrum and your mind is empty. Your thoughts are empty and you do not go into the process of understanding what you have listened to. But when you are in the listening process, you are there to evaluate what you have listened to. So in note making, what is happening? You are just noting down the points given by the speaker. So it can be a passive approach towards learning. Again, what is happening? It is a combination of standardized and personalized data which you hear. Standardized in the sense as the speaker is telling you. But we say when you're listening to something, you undergo many barriers. Even noise as a barrier is created in between. The environmental, the surrounding barriers, the noise created by the traffic outside the classroom is a disturbance in the process of listening. So even while taking notes, if you are distracted by the sound of the traffic outside, this is going to affect your note taking process. Now, the good listener will always take notes. But what is happening? You go into the passive mode where you are mentally present, where you are physically present but mentally absent. This happens again with extreme boredom or fatigue. Listening to longer lectures can sometimes create boredom. So, but what is happening? It is nothing without analyzing and information. When you are noting down, you are not undergoing the process of analyzing, interpreting, or even sometimes understanding. As we say that the information which you listen to cannot sometimes be understood due to the barriers outside. In the same way, it will not reach down to the student. Note taking is usually noting the information from the original source. That is, you are in the lecture and you are just noting down the bullet points. See the main points, you are there to jot down. Your understanding process can be at the back seat. Now here we have note taking leads to note making. Now what note making is?